Right now, your body is asking you to stand up. You probably won't listen. You are sitting down. You have been sitting for a while, and somewhere deep in your legs, a signal is quietly firing, one that has been firing in every human body for a very long time. But the real answer to why you feel restless, foggy, and strangely tired after sitting all day is far stranger than you need more exercise. Your body was not built to be still. It was built to walk, not jog, not sprint. Walk. For hours. Almost every day. For millions of years. Start with a number. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham and evolutionary biologists who study modern hunter-gatherer groups estimate that many foraging populations walk somewhere between 8 and 15 kilometers a day. Every day. Not as exercise, just as life. Finding food, finding water, following animals, following seasons. That distance was not a workout. It was Tuesday. Your ancestors did not walk because they enjoyed cardio. They walked because sitting still meant starving. Here is where it gets strange. Harvard evolutionary biologist Daniel Lieberman has spent decades studying human movement, and his research points to something almost uncomfortable. Your body is not just capable of walking long distances, it is engineered for it. Your long legs, your springy Achilles tendon, your ability to sweat through your skin instead of panting like most mammals. These are not random features, they are tools, shaped over millions of years, for one job. Covering ground? Think about that for a second. Somewhere in your ancestry, walking was not a choice. It was the price of being alive. So why does that matter to you now, sitting wherever you are sitting? Because your biology never got the memo that the world changed. For most of human history, movement and survival were the same thing. If you found food, it was because you walked to it. If you avoided a predator, it was because you were mobile enough to escape. Your brain evolved inside a body that was almost always in motion, and it built itself around that assumption. Every system, your circulation, your digestion, your mood regulation, developed with the expectation of regular, low-intensity movement. Now picture a single modern day. You wake up. You sit to eat breakfast. You sit in a car, a bus, or a train. You sit at a desk for 8 hours. You sit again on the way home. You sit to eat dinner. You sit to relax in front of a screen. By the end of it, you might have taken a few hundred steps in a body built to expect thousands. That mismatch is not neutral. It has consequences. Physiologist James Levine, who spent years studying what he called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, found something researchers now consider foundational to understanding modern sedentary life. Just standing, fidgeting, and shifting position throughout the day burns meaningfully more energy than sitting still. And prolonged, uninterrupted sitting is linked to changes in blood sugar regulation and cardiovascular strain that happen regardless of whether you exercise later. In other words, an hour at the gym does not undo 8 hours of stillness. Your body is not asking for a single burst of effort. It is asking for movement spread across the whole day, the way it always used to get it. But this is not only about your muscles or your heart, it is about your mind. Here is the twist most people never expect. Walking does not just move your body, it changes your brain in real time. Neuroscientist David Reichlin, who studies the evolutionary link between physical activity and cognition, has proposed that human brains and human endurance may have evolved together. Persistent moderate movement appears to stimulate biological processes that support the growth of new connections in the brain, particularly in regions tied to memory. Some researchers believe this is why walking so often loosens a stuck thought, or why a problem you could not solve at your desk suddenly untangles itself halfway through a walk around the block. Have you ever noticed that? A conversation flows easier when you are walking side by side instead of sitting face to face. An idea arrives not while you are staring at a screen, but while you are moving toward nowhere in particular. That is not a coincidence. That is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do while your legs are in motion. So here is the uncomfortable reframe. The modern chair is not just furniture. It is one of the most unnatural environments your body has ever been placed in. For nearly the entire span of human existence, sitting for 8 or 10 hours straight simply was not possible. There was food to find. There was ground to cover. There was no option to be still for that long, because stillness was inefficient, and inefficiency in a world without supermarkets was dangerous. Now stillness is the default, and your body still treats it as strange, even if your mind has stopped noticing. This shows up in small, familiar ways. The restlessness you feel after too long at a desk, the urge to pace while you are on the phone, the relief of finally standing up after a long meeting, as if your whole body exhales. These are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are old instincts still switched on, still trying to do their job in a world that no longer asks for it. Consider, too, what walking meant socially. Anthropological accounts of hunter-gatherer life describe long walks not as solitary chores, but as shared time, spent talking, teaching children, passing down knowledge about where water can be found or which plants are safe to eat. Walking was how information moved between people, long before written language existed to store it. Your ancestors' history, their survival knowledge, their relationships were built step by step, quite literally. You still carry a fragment of that instinct. Notice how a walk with a friend can feel more honest than a conversation sitting across a table. Notice how children often think better while moving instead of sitting still at a desk for hours. These are not modern quirks. They are old blueprints, quietly running in the background of a very new world. Here is the part that reframes everything. You were never meant to treat walking as a special event, something scheduled into a calendar, squeezed between other tasks, requiring the right shoes and the right playlist. For nearly all of human history, walking was not a workout. It was simply what a normal day looked like. It was breathing with your legs. Somewhere along the way, that changed. Chairs, cars, and screens redesigned daily life faster than evolution could ever keep up with. Your body, still shaped by millions of years of walking ancestors, was dropped into an environment built for stillness in the span of a few generations. From a biological perspective, that is barely a blink. So the fatigue you feel after a day of sitting is not weakness, it is mismatch. The heaviness in your legs by evening, even though you barely use them, is not laziness. It is your body registering an absence, the way a muscle aches not from overuse but from disuse. Which brings this back to where it started. Right now, your body is asking you to stand up, not because standing will fix everything, not because one walk will undo a lifetime of chairs, but because somewhere underneath all the meetings, the screens, and the schedules, there is still a much older version of you. One that expects to be moving, one that was built, quite literally from the ground up, to walk. So the next time your legs feel restless, or your focus starts to drift, or a stubborn thought refuses to resolve itself, you might not need more willpower. You might just need to listen to one of the oldest instructions your body has ever given you. Get up and walk.